People, deluded goon, I hope you all can hear me well. Now, it's a Sunday morning, it's a lovely Sunday morning. I know it's cold outside and everything's there, but it might as well be 100 degrees because obviously we didn't get slaughtered, as many Arsenal fans, myself included, thought was going to happen against Chelsea. We actually won, we kept a clean sheet. I don't know whether that's testament to how good we played or testament to how bad Chelsea played. I mean, you've got to play really bad to make some of our players look solid defensively and for us to keep a clean sheet. But banter aside, credit to the lads, man to a man. Credit to Unai Emery as well, because ultimately he's got to do the tactics and them things, and they looked well rehearsed and stuff like that. I have liked how he's approached big games, but if we look at the last big game we played against Liverpool, I felt it was a bit too pragmatic. Even though we can't match Liverpool for quality, I felt we respected them a bit too much, sat off a bit too much, and it didn't help us. And you saw fearlessness from start to finish. You saw commitment, you saw passion, you saw aggression. A lot of the things that really should be the minimum requirement, and we really shouldn't have to praise when we see it here and there. But credit to Unai Emery for the tactics. Credit to the players from start to finish, man to a man. There's not anyone I have any criticisms with. But if we look at it from a tactical point of view now, there are some things that helped us. Now, we'll get on to that. But I think a big reason as to why we beat Chelsea was actually self-inflicted by Chelsea. I don't think they did their homework, or they may be similar to the fan sentiment like us. They thought they assumed they were just going to turn up and roll us over and things like that. Firstly, if we look at... hopefully I'm holding this properly. My spelling's poor, but this was actually... the names are just there to help me remember everything. But obviously, Chelsea, everything I spoke in the preview, we did, and you saw what happened, people. But Chelsea, we know they're a very possession-based side. They remind me of Arsenal about 5-10 years ago. So much possession, so much passes, so much pretty movement, but don't normally walk away with the results. They're fourth as well, just like Arsenal when we used to get battered for that. But they're a possession-based side. You've got Kepa, you've got Rudiger, who's statistically up there for passes completed. And like you saw against us, he played some nice passes. David Luiz, that's a strength of his as well. Jorginho as well. Fundamental to them is building out from the back and things like that. And similar to Spurs when they beat them in the league, not the Carabao Cup, we got at them. From the first minute, literally, you could see Chelsea were nervous. I think not Aspilicueta, he made a mistake when he got dispossessed for Aubameyang. Let me put this down for a sec. But who is it? Luis definitely made a silly pass within the first minute, and I think Jorginho. So they were nervous, and that kind of set the tone. I wanted us to be fearless. I wanted us to use Spurs' victory when we beat Spurs, or as inspiration. I wanted us to actually take inspiration from Spurs' victory in the league against Chelsea. I wanted us to take inspiration from our draw against Liverpool. And we did that. We pressed them high. We are far better. We're not good enough to be cerebral as a side and set up rigid defensively and stuff. So we have to marry the two together. We pressed very well. Kepa had no options. Rudiger and Luiz are two good passes. You obviously saw Aubameyang and Lacazette right onto them. Obviously, you saw all three rotate positions as well. Ramsey would leave midfield and get onto Jorginho. You've done that. You've stopped them playing out from the back. Their fullbacks can't get onto the ball because our fullbacks have now come high, as you can see, with Kola and Bellerin. That's what happened. So even if they do receive the ball, even if these men do receive the ball, they can only go home or go inside. And inside, we've already got three midfielders already. And you saw Xhaka, Guendouzi and Torreira. They did very well helping out the wide men on the flanks, but they also did very well staying together. And you saw Kovacic, he was eaten alive. Jorginho's there. Kante's pressing with Hazard as some sort of false striker thing. I don't know what Sarri's doing. So they vacated the midfield. They had no outlet on the ball because they had to go backwards. These men in possession were just giving it away and being pressed. So they can't go long because it's not like there's a holding point in Giroud where he could bring people on. That's not Hazard's strength. Obviously, if we've got no focal point, or if they've got no focal point, we've got no focal point to defend against, naturally this is playing into Arsenal's hands because Sokratis and Koscielny got further up the pitch. Our fullbacks were allowed to go. Our midfielders already made it rigid. Ramsey would tuck inside at times as well, on top of offering that to flood the midfield. You'd also see Lacazette as well. So we outnumbered them. We really did a number in that department, And I have to give credit to us tactically because we was aggressive. And we moved up together as a team. Normally at times at Arsenal, how many times have we seen we'll press for 10 minutes and we'll fall into old habits, or some players will press, some players won't, some players are stuck in two minds of both, these sort of things. So that kind of helped us. They're playing out from the back, kind of set up the context for us. We know, despite the fact that I don't believe we're anywhere near how we was a few years ago, we're still a possession-based side. We still prefer on the ball sort of things rather than pace and direct threats. On the side note, how we play against United might be a completely different game. But they played into our hands with no real options and just flooding the midfield. Kante's playing in a role that's not his, and he would have been used back there, but he's pressing with Hazard. Hazard's there, hopefully you can see. Kante's here, excuse my poor handwriting. They're pressing together, and when they are pressing, they're not pressing quick enough. They're leaving too much space between Leno. Leno's there getting to decide, Koscielny, not Koscielny, Kola, do you want it? Bellerin, do you want it? Midfielders, do you want it? We're allowed too much time. If that's allowed to happen, then what was you seeing? You were seeing Mr. Man here, Xhaka. A man who, if you give, he's one of the best players in the Premier League when you give him thousands of years on the ball. Picking up the ball, getting passes together. We were cutting them open in 5-10 passes, literally, down either side of the flank. So that was something I really liked to see. And I feel Chelsea, as good as we were, Chelsea made it easier for ourselves. For instance, if we was to play against United, you look at how they played against Brighton with Lingard, who else? Lingard, Martial and Rashford. They're going to stay up there. They're going to make runs in behind, which Hazard wasn't doing. Hazard going deep and stuff like that was playing into our hands, in my humble opinion. They really made it easy for us. In regards to our team shape, though, I liked it, man. Obviously, you saw a 4-3-1-2, depending on how you count it. You could actually say, at times, it was almost like a 4-2-2-2, in that we had either Xhaka and Guendouzi doing their thing, Matt Ramsey and whoever doing their thing, and the two strikers. But to make things easier, it was more like that. Obviously, it's not to scale, but it was something along the lines of that. What I liked about this, first and foremost, the obvious. Both strikers are playing. I said we needed Ramsey. Ramsey helped press, as I've already said. We needed Ramsey in this game. I was impressed with Xhaka, Guendouzi and Torreira. I felt when they needed to in the second half. And where's the blue ones to make it make sense? Second half, we were under some sustained pressure. Obviously, Chelsea needed to have done better with the ball. But I liked the way they shielded the back. They shielded the defence, really and truly. So that Chelsea didn't really... I'll just put some just to make it a bit better. Chelsea didn't really have nothing to do. They couldn't really do anything. It's all in front. Like, Chelsea dominated the possession stats and stuff, but it's all in front. How many penetrative passes could you really see from Chelsea? It was a handful. I know Willian first half got in behind Hazard and them things there. Koscielny had to make a couple blocks, but how many to no avail, people? So I was really impressed with the midfield, to be honest with you. Our midfield. Removing these for a minute as well. I also liked our midfield receiving it off our centre-halves, like I've said. Anyone, whether it was Guendouzi, Xhaka or Torreira, when they were receiving it, there was options for the men ahead. They were playing forward passes. I'm sorry, people, this is a blue one because I've run out of them. But they were playing forward passes. A more accurate thing of how it went in-game to keep on top of us crowding out their midfield, you probably saw our fullbacks here. You probably saw our midfielders more here, so... And then obviously there's Ramsey helping press, but Ramsey tucked in quite a few times. You actually saw Lacazette and then Aubameyang would drop. So you would see us frustrating them. I was really impressed with how we attacked together. We put through some great moves down either flank and through the middle. But I was impressed with our team shape because defensively we were solid. You saw Mandem were back defending. You saw Aubameyang making fouls. Well, not fouls, but making good tackles. Obviously, there was the penalty incident that I feel is reaching. It was a really good lineup and game plan for Unai Emery, and I really liked how the boys implemented what they was told. To be fair with you, as well. I don't know if I can really draw it to make sense, but I'm not drawing this, but I liked how you've heard me say this a few times. I like how we utilised set pieces, and we really did. You obviously saw them lads there switching off from both of them for both of the goals for Koscielny and Lacazette, two set pieces of sorts. It's poor defending from Chelsea. We don't need to go on that. But what I liked to see, people, and I don't know if it makes sense. Forgive me, give me a sec, people. But it felt like we work on set pieces clearly. That's annoying, people. See how things go wrong. The metals come out, or the magnet, better yet. But we'll try. Oh, it's here. Sorry, people, why I put it back in. It's jarring. Technical difficulties and that. But from set pieces, people, to make it a bit realistic, because it's not just the Chelsea backline. They got a couple midfielders there. It felt like we was targeting Alonso for some reason. It felt like we was targeting Alonso because if you go and watch the game again, couple of incidences, if you pre-us, we're peeling up. This is Alonso, the left back, obviously. You've got my man here is being picked up and you've got this. We was trying to isolate incidences like that. Similar to how we scored. I know it wasn't Alonso, but similar to how we scored. That's something I picked up on as well. What else are we missing? I've said the main key points. Probably as well. It's reaching, but I've seen this on several occasions. We know our defenders at times, they're not always watching over the line, and we got away with it, and it was a terrific performance. But at times, Socrates and Koscielny were brilliant today. Well, yesterday, but there was times they were playing players onside, and I have seen that quite a few times this season. There was one time in the first half. We don't need to go over Koscielny's one, but Socrates was probably the most obvious. He was ridiculously deep in our box, and he's playing Hazard onside. Things like that can go a different game. I did feel as well, because of how we set up. I have to draw it all over again. I do feel, people, how we set up. One natural issue with how we set up, or one con that you probably take with all the pros, is that because of I wouldn't call it a diamond, but because of how we were, we had to concede space down the side, which Chelsea obviously, evidently didn't take advantage of. But if I try and draw it to make it scale. And people, please remember that one of the dons up there in blue is Lacazette. We call him Lacazette because we're missing red ones. But obviously, if we're staying like this, then our fullbacks are there. Wait, I won't move them. I'll keep it exactly in formation. But if we're doing this, obviously on paper, people, it doesn't look like much is going on in it. I'll keep my I'll keep my hand on. Where's Lacazette? That's Lacazette in it, people, and ignore him. This is Lacazette. This man right here on the semicircle is Lacazette. But one issue with how we was playing. Now, apart from him, ignore all the blue ones to make it make sense for you people. In fact, no, I'll keep it because you lot are smart. Obviously, you had the three in midfield. You had our two fullbacks. You obviously had Ramsey, who was in and up, was doing this, and obviously dropping back as well. Even if we keep it here and say him dropping back, you obviously had Lacazette coming here, and obviously you had Aubameyang. Sorry if I moved it. One problem with that, or not even a problem, because of the game plan, there was 2v1 situations developing with Pedro and Willian and their fullbacks on either side. Now, we were able to deal with it simply by having a lot of bodies in the box, and we cleared our lines very well. But you were seeing a couple of incidences in the first half that was happening, but it weren't like I said, man. We weren't trouble, to be fair with you. I liked how we gave away smart fouls as well with you people. Trying to see if I'm missing anyone else out. We spoke about the Ramsey role. In fact, do you know what? I like you guys, man. We'll reiterate Ramsey taking out Jorginho. So now if we start these Chelsea lads from a starting position, similar to, they play exactly like us. Nothing's out of the ordinary in terms of receiving it from the back. This is where I tell you, lot, football is a tactical game. Like, it's nothing more than that. Obviously, the man in red are ours. Finally, no one's Lacazette in blue. But you obviously had Kepa, two centre halves, wingers. They want to play out. Killed them. We killed them. Now we had our fullbacks on either side as well. Again, so their fullbacks cannot go anywhere. Their fullbacks simply can't go anywhere. Jorginho was going there. Ramsey was following him. Now, Ramsey wasn't always following him, because there was times Jorginho was getting into spaces where he couldn't trouble anyone. But you see how we marked them out to game, people. Don't do that. Then you obviously had our three midfielders, excluding Ramsey. You obviously had our three midfielders. You see how it makes it easier. And if I just to reiterate, obviously I did it on the whiteboard, but the Hazard one, Chelsea set themselves up for failure. They were better off. I know Morata's future's in a lot of air and them things there, but better off with Morata or just starting Giroud, even though I know Giroud would have probably missed sitters, but just for a focal point. You've seen Southampton, Brighton, many teams this season trouble Arsenal with a focal point. So why would you play Hazard in the 9? Now, if it worked, it would have been brilliant. So I'm not going to sit here and belittle what Chelsea were doing, but just by looking at it, these things were playing into our hands, essentially, people. Obviously, you had the three midfielders there. You had their three midfielders. You had ours. You probably had Ramsey here. That's probably an accurate drawing of it. You have the fullbacks as well. We'll put their fullbacks there, and we'll just, you know what, we'll just put this one here for decoration because it's not really the point. But as you saw, typically this is what I was seeing when Chelsea had the ball. We've spoken about defensively. Hazard is playing a false nine. Now, he is not going to he'll do it time to time, but he's not consistently going to make these runs. Going to make these runs off the centre halves. At times, you're going to see him pull out to the flanks and get in dangerous issues, or here, or dribbling. But he's not someone who's just going to stay up here and occupy the centre halves. He's a technical base player. He can't help it. He wants to come inside. It's helping us. He's coming deep and receiving the ball there. There's no focal point. Socrates and Mustafi have nothing to do. So what do they naturally tell them? Their fullbacks. Their fullbacks are here because of how we're sitting. Go, Cola, go. Bellerin, go. We've got no one here. Leno. I'll use my thumb as Leno. Leno, give me the ball. Let me receive it. Then you see them picking passes. Then Xhaka is thinking, okay, no one's there. Let me receive the ball. Then you're seeing cute little combination plays with all sorts of combination plays with the Reds, cutting them open. We're cutting them open in 5-10 passes. It's lovely to see from an Arsenal point of view, but Chelsea really did play in our hands with no focal point. You know, even if they're not going to do anything, Arsenal struggle in the air. Arsenal struggle with a physical approach. And Koscielny going into the game is getting of age. There was question marks. If he was to get a focal point, you could have asked him question mark. Don't get it twisted because Koscielny was a boss today. Kante was out of role as well. He should have really just played Kante in his position. What else? We've spoken about their fullbacks. We haven't really spoken about that. But what I liked to see as well, it's not really as an example. It's just to highlight it. I just really liked to see it, man. Because typically we don't do that. Do you remember, people, in my tactical review against Brighton, yeah? There was a goal that, this is the Brighton lad, Lacazette, and I can't remember who else, but Lacazette and someone else. If they just closed my man down, the ball wouldn't have, if they just closed my man down, in fact, they tried to. If they closed him or conceded a foul against Brighton, that goal, I can't remember it all, but that goal wouldn't have happened. The difference with how, that was the wrong thing to do. The right thing, which you were seeing against Chelsea, the nearest person to the ball, pressed, and someone was coming to back it, harassing. At times as well with Guendouzi, Kolar, Xhaka got away with a few smart fouls as well to disrupt the play. Against Brighton, you obviously saw that we didn't do that. They took the ball and put it in the back of our net. We was over them. We were hunting in packs. If you had the ball here, you were seeing people surround you. And if you got past him and managed to pass it to him, someone was there, sort of thing. That is what you want to see. More, obviously, can't be at that level game in, game out. But these are the sort of things you want to see, or really and truly should be the minimum, to be honest with you. We played nice combination plays. There's numerous incidences if you watch the game. Aubameyang had some good ones. Lacazette. There was definitely one in the second half. If Kola got his head up and found Torreira, it deserved a goal. There's really not that much more to say. I think I've spoken enough on the shape as well. We've spoken of them sitting back. Obviously, when I watched the game again, the big reason as to why Koscielny scored, because we cut them open in 5-10 passes. Luis gave away a silly foul. Koscielny put the ball in the back of the net, sort of thing. Do you see what I'm saying? It was about 7 passes or something prior to that. Then it was about 3 or 4 passes where Luis conceded the foul. Lacazette's obviously they switched off and they were under serious pressure. So, on a side note, it was also nice to see that we started off strongly in the first half. We actually went into half-time with the lead. We got a clean sheet. Good performance. There's nothing more I can say, to be fair with you. Obviously, we've got Manchester City coming up as well in the league, and that's going to... Yeah, man, I ain't got no words for that. That's whatever happens against them happens, sort of thing, people. We've got United on Friday. I can't lie, I don't want to lose to United. I hate them. I love the club. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I love what United previously stand for. And forget the fans and stuff. I'm not talking about them. Just what Ferguson built, that's admirable. And if I was a coach or aspiring scout and coach and stuff, there's some jobs you won't turn down, which would be United. But I've got a lot of friends and family who support United. They always want to banter. They always want to chat about Arsenal. So I want to smash these lads in. I do think that game will be completely different. For instance, like I said, how Hazard and Kante weren't pressing us. Martial, from what I saw against Brighton, he was dropping way too deep anyways. And someone needs to have a word with him about that. But Martial, Rashford, Lingard, they're gonna stay on our backline. They're gonna try and make runs in behind. They're not gonna sit off us, allowing us to play a higher line and them things there. They're gonna give us something to think about. So it's gonna be a different game. But if nothing more, we can just take confidence from this. I don't want to draw too many conclusions because we're getting excited and saying a lot of positive things. But we really need to just keep a cool head, keep with the same mentality, and go again. But for now, anyways, people, forgive me if you've had some audio issues. We know we're going through that. There's not much I can do apart from, say, turn up your headphones. But for now, anyways, people, deluded, comment, subscribe, and do the rest. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 0. Hopefully my tactical review from what I saw provided some talking points. If not, comment, subscribe and do the rest. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm out.